So if you saw my videos on my experiences as a substitute teacher in Chicago Public High Schools, I mentioned in one of the videos that probably the school that I subbed at with the most problems was Austin. And Austin had so many problems, as a matter of fact, that they had to close the school down and then basically reopen it. When I was there, it was only freshmen and seniors in the building, and they had separated the freshmen and the seniors so that the seniors couldn't have contact with the freshmen. They were on the top floor, and I think the freshmen were on the bottom floor. So it was a school where there was 2 arrests per day on average. This is in the Austin community over on Pine Avenue. As far as the neighborhood, it's I would not say that it's worse than like Garfield Park where Marshall High School was at, but the problems that were in the school was just even worse than Marshall, man. But this incident took place actually a couple years before I was there. This was in 2003, and then there's another incident that actually took place, which this particular suspect is also accused of. But they're reporting now that a longtime Chicago teacher gets 10 years for sexually assaulting 2 girls, and one of these took place at Austin High School with the school's band teacher. So they said that a longtime Chicago school teacher was sentenced Friday to 10 years in prison after he pled guilty in 3 cases that accused him of sexually assaulting 2 underage girls, including one of his students. Eugene Westmoreland, he's 62. He pled guilty to criminal sexual abuse of a victim under 13, predatory criminal sexual assault, and aggravated criminal sexual abuse of a victim under 18 by a person in a position of trust, according to clerk computer records. So the judge sentenced him to 7 years and 3 years for the latter charges. Those are going to be served consecutively. So the record shows that he handed down 3.5 years for the first charge, which will be served concurrently with the other 2. So in one case, Westmoreland was accused of sexually assaulting a female student at Austin Community High School at 231 North Pine in 2003 when he was the school's band teacher. The victim is now 35. So some of this stuff can come out like years later. But the thing about this, man, I'll talk about this towards the end of the video as far as like dirty stuff that goes on in the Chicago Public High Schools. But the other victim's a relative of his. And she actually accused him of sexually assaulting and abusing her between May of 2007, May of 2014, when she was between 9 and 14 years old. At the time of his arrest, he listed his job as a teacher at Christ the King Jesuit Prep in the Austin neighborhood. An online roster for the school's 2018-2019 year listed him as the band and music director. There were no allegations that he engaged in any wrongdoing when he was at Christ the King. So, okay, man, Chicago high schools, there's been a lot of allegations of stuff like this over the years. And some of them it's proven, some of it's not. But in high school, this is, one of those things where it's like it's a lot dicier than grammar school. Now, this guy was a lot older. Typically, this is something that you see go on more with the younger teachers because you can become a teacher. Like I started working at Sullivan when I was 22. Okay. Now, students can, through repeating grades, actually stay in high school until they're 22. So we had some students, and I mean, this was not uncommon in some of these schools where you would have students that had repeated like 2 and 3 grades, and you would get a student that was in your class that was like 20, 21. Okay, the teacher's 22. So, the age difference, obviously, okay, they're over 18, so it's not going to be illegal in that respect, but as a like professional at the school, you can't like have any type of relationship with the student. I had mentioned to you guys in a previous video when that girl had told me that she liked me, she was like 17 and I was about 21, 22. You can't, it doesn't matter if she was 18, like none of that would have mattered, you know what I'm saying? Because if you're in a position like over that person, that's like it's like an added charge. You can't do nothing, okay? But a lot of times when you have only a small age difference, I would see this, man, like especially with the girls on some of the younger male teachers, they would be coming at them. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be the opposite way. It would be like the student coming at the teacher. And this was actually pretty common, especially when it comes to the seniors. 18, they're 18, 19 years old in the class with a guy that's in his early 20s, man. That's a recipe for disaster. So, that type of stuff in Chicago public high schools, it does go on. Now, this guy was a lot older than that. There was a big age difference. There was like 20 years age difference. And I would say that there's a big double standard too, because I typically see it happening more too, at least in the news, with female teachers and male students. And the standard is not as strict with them. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times the male student wants it. Same thing, Same situation. And there's a lot of people that get into like real life relationships, and then once the person graduates high school, so yeah, in high school, man, that's a big issue. Definitely teaching the kids to come forward with anything like that, so that it doesn't grow into a much bigger problem. Anyways, man, this is Boy Chicago News. I'm out.